Hey, what is up guys, this is Cob, and welcome to Destruction Warlock talents for PvP specifically in the War Within beta. Let's talk about the current PvP build that I am currently operating with, how it feels, and some very minor tweaks that you can make in order to make this a more Soulfire-centric build. It only takes a couple of talent points. Then we're going to talk about a big problem with this talent tree as it is. In fact, wait and see to see if you can spot it as we go on through the build itself. Now, first of all, it feels like a lot of stuff here in the early talent picks is just kind of mandatory, right? You don't really have a choice. You have to go the Rain of Fire route into the reduced Soul Shard count to cast Rain of Fire. You have to go this route. Obviously, Rain of Fire does have some PvP utility in keeping healers in combat, stop them from drinking, getting stealthers out, all that kind of thing. So it has its uses, but you don't really have a choice. You have to go into this anyway to get to Scalding Flames. Don't bother going the Pyrogenics way. Worthless in PvP, right? You're just trying to get to Scalding Flames, increase the damage of Immolate by 25% and its duration by 3 seconds. Is just too good to do without, and so you kind of have to go that way. Everything on the left side over here is kind of self-explanatory as well. You need the Havoc, you need the Backlash. You're obviously going to be going down into Indiscriminate Flames to unlock everything else. There is a choice here between Improved Conflag and Roaring Blaze. I'm going to be opting into Roaring Blaze. Your Conflagrate increases your Immolate, Incinerate, and Conflag damage to the target by 25% for 8 seconds. I think that this is worth it, honestly, for the increased Immolate damage alone, especially if you are running Hellcaller, right? Because then you've got Wither up much more consistently than you might have your Immolate up. And so I just feel like Roaring Blaze is going to give you a lot more overall value if you are running the Wither style hero talent build. And so, yeah, I think that Roaring Blaze makes a lot of sense. Now, a little bit further on down, of course, we've got like Shadowburn, Grimoire Sacrifice, all of this is fine. There's a little bit of a choice to be made here between Explosive Potential and Blistering Atrophy. Blistering Atrophy, not that great. I've been trying it out. I'm going to do it live. I'm going to remove a point from this. It increases the damage of Shadowburn by 20%. Fine. Good stuff, like not bad, right? The critical strike chance of Shadowburn is increased by an additional 50% when damaging a target that is at or below 30% health. Realistically, you're just blasting Shadowburns randomly. If anything, you're using Shadowburn very early on in the fight to apply the Eradication debuff anywhere, right? Which is Case Bolt and Shadowburn increases the damage you deal to a target by 5% for 7 seconds. So you're kind of trying to keep the Eradication debuff up at all times anyway, so you can't really wait to use Shadowburn as an execute most of the time. Also, not only that, but where is it, man? There it is. Conflagration of Chaos. Conflag and Shadowburn have a 50% chance to guarantee your next cast of the skill to critically strike, and increases damage by your crit strike chance. So you've already got a lot of crit chance anyway on the Shadowburn, just because of Conflagration of Chaos. This thing is proccing all the time. I feel like Blistering Atrophy is not worth the point, and I would rather put that point into Explosive Potential down here instead. Reduce the cooldown of Conflagrate by 2 seconds. We're doing it live, boys. We'll do it live. Over on this side of the tree, there's not really a whole lot to speak about. You know, Ashen Remains, you obviously are going to need that. Increases damage dealt to immolated targets. Basically, you're going to skip the entire Channel Demon Fire pathway, just because in PvP, channeled skills, yeah. If there's even one melee on you, you might cast this in, I don't know, like a wayward fantasy, a dream, a reverie of some kind. If there's 2 melees on you, I mean, you're just throwing your PC out of the window if this skill is on your bars, right? So just don't even worry about that. Everything else here is kind of just locked in. Ember Storm is great now. Increase the damage done by your fire spells by 2% and reduce the cast time of Incinerate by 20%, which is the real meat of that talent. Great for shard generation. Kind of speaks for itself. Likewise, over here, we've got the talent after Dimensional Rift. Incinerate has a chance to recharge a Dimensional Rift. That's just going to be real nice as well, just an extra little perk that we can pick up, and we skip out on Fire and Brimstone because, yeah, this is just a PvE talent, right? We have already spoken about Eradication down here. Next up over here, we've got Reverse Entropy, which is unchanged from Dragonflight. Of course, very good skill to have. Just stack up a whole bunch of haste stacks. Feels really nice. Oh, and sorry, yeah, that also feeds on from Flashpoint, which is actually what's giving you the haste stacks. But basically, Flashpoint and Reverse Entropy, excellent stuff for boosting your cast times significantly. And then we pick up Devastation, Ritual of Ruin, and Summon Infernal. Now, have you spotted the problem with these talent trees already? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, man. But for me, I feel like these bottom few tiers right here really exemplify the problem, right? There is no world that exists in which you're not picking Devastation. Same with Ritual of Ruin. Same with Summon Infernal. Then we follow on down from these, right? What have we got down here? We've got Ruin. Increase the crit strike damage of your destruction spells. This is a 5% flat damage buff to Chaos Bolt, because Chaos Bolt scales off of crit. Just more crits is good. So you're going to pick Ruin, right? Because of course you are. And then just working our way along, we have Burn to Ashes, Chaos Bolt, Rain of Fire, increase the damage of your next 2 Incinerates by 15%. Shadow Burn also has the same effect, but only gives you 1 stack, and this can stack up to 6 times. Feels like Burn to Ashes is kind of unskippable as well. Maybe. I think that if there's one talent you could drop a point from, it would be Burn to Ashes, to put that into Soulfire and start developing down that tree instead. That is something that you could do. And you might say, oh, well, why not take a point from further on down the tree? You know what I'm saying? Well, if we pull 1 point from anywhere, it shuts down the entire bottom section of the tree. So everything, in effect, everything above, like Devastation and Ritual of Ruin, everything all up in here is locked. None of it is changeable at all. It's dialed in. This is like the only way. Realistically, if you're trying to min-max, I feel like this is the only way to build your tree. All the way up until the very, very end here. Then the Devastation tree, Ritual of Ruin tree, this is all locked in as well. So there's no options here. And I don't know, I just feel like all of the options are actually on the bottom 2 tiers. And there's only 2 talent points that you can actually move, right? Sorry, I'm getting all over the place here, man. But moving along a little bit, we have Master Ritualist, which is now just 1 point to reduce the required stacks of Ritual of Ruin by 5. Which is just crazy. And all the way over on the far side here, you might think, oh, well, do we really need to go into this talent here after the Infernal? Yes, we do, man. Summon Infernal increases the damage of your next 8 casts of Chaos Bolt by 25%. That is nuts, okay? That is crazy as hell. For 1 talent point to have that much power in it, I feel like this is also unskippable. So you see what I mean? I feel like Burn to Ashes is really the only talent, unless I'm going crazy, that you can comfortably borrow a point from if you want to put it into Soulfire instead. And just to cover the bottom talents, by the way, I've gone into Improved Chaos Bolt. This also feels absolutely mandatory. Increase the damage of Chaos Bolt by 10% and reduces cast time by half a second. Crazy. You cannot do without that. Avatar of Destruction, you can't do without this. Consume Ritual of Ruin summons an Overfiend, which casts Chaos Bolts into your target. You can't skip that. And so the only other point that we can borrow from is Chaos Incarnate, which I've gone into just to make a Chaos Bolt build more sort of reliable, right? Chaos Bolt, Rain of Fire, Shadow Burn always gains 70% of the max benefit of your mastery, so it reduces the RNG a bit. Makes your damage more consistently above average, which I think is fine. I guess if you wanted to borrow points, it would be from Chaos Incarnate and Burn to Ashes, and then you slam that in Soulfire, and then Decimation, which is pretty good, by the way. I think that this will probably be the final build that things settle on. Your critical strikes have a chance to reset the cooldown of Soulfire and reduce the cast time of your next Soulfire by 80%, which if we go all the way back up to Indiscriminate Flames, Backdraft increases the damage of your next Chaos Bolt by 5% and the crit chance of your next Incinerate or Soulfire by 35%. Soulfire crits are like double Chaos Bolts, right? They're really, really swole. And so for me, I truly feel like this is really the only build that like actually makes sense in PvP. Maybe not really the only build, but this thereabouts. This is like 95% of the way there, no matter what. And I kind of hate that, man. I kind of hate the fact that there are so few sort of like real choices to make on the talent tree. In fact, what choices are we actually making here? Like internal combustion? No, man. Just not really. Improved conflagrate? Maybe there's a choice to be made here. But sort of not really, because Roaring Blaze is so strong. Oh god, I didn't even read that actually. No, you have to go Roaring Blaze because Conflag increases your Soulfire damage as well to the target by 25% for 8 seconds. So that's mandatory too if you're going to run the quick cast Soulfire proc build, you know? And I don't know, man. I'm just not sure that I'm much of a fan of this. I feel like at least there's some actual real choices to make along the way in the hero talent trees, which, by the way, I suppose I've got to admit it. I feel like Hellcaller, when it comes to rated PvP, is just going to be superior just because of Wither, right? Instant cast dots sort of speaks for itself. So to give a quick rundown of the choices that we make in that, you got the choice between Aura of Enfeeblement or Curse of the Satyr. I'm still kind of testing these, by the way. I'm not sure which one of these I actually prefer just yet. Curse of the Satyr is, of course, just kind of like a mix or like a combined curse that combines Cursive Tongues and Weakness into one. Whereas Aura of Enfeeblement, while Unending Resolve is active, enemies within 30 yards are affected by Cursive Tongues and Cursive Weakness at 100% effectiveness. So this is what I'm running right now. I feel like it's pretty good in terms of bolstering survivability and things like Solo Shuffle. Is this one locked in? No, not really. Like it's still in a very much a testing phase, right? Next up, we have the choice between Hate Fury Rituals and Bleak Heart Tactics. So Hate Fury, Wither deals 50% increased periodic damage, but its duration is 25% shorter. Or you can go with Wither damage increased by 20%. When Wither gains a stack from Blackened Soul, it has a chance to gain one more. Yeah, I was trying out Bleak Heart Tactics. I don't know, man. Not that much of a fan. I think that a 50% damage buff on this. You got to remember as well that Wither has a 21-second duration. So even with this, it's still like, what, 15, 16-second duration? I think that that's plenty enough time in PvP where more often than not, you're going to have it applied constantly to a minimum of 2 targets. I feel like Hate Fury Rituals is probably better. I'm going to go ahead and make that switch. Now we've got Zevrim's Resilience versus Ilhoof's Design. So Ilhoof's is sacrifice 10% of your max health. Soul Leech now absorbs an additional 15% of your max health. My god, is this bad. This is really not good at all. I don't like it. I hate it. I think it's garbage. Why? Sacrificing 10% of your max health automatically makes your Health Stone heal less and your Dark Pact shield for less as well, because it scales based on your max HP, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is good at all, at least for PvP, okay? Whereas Zevrim's Resilience, I feel is fine. Dark Pact heals you for a bit for 1 second every second while active. It's a little bit of something. I'll tell you what I really hate about the Hellcaller tree, however, Malevolence. God damn it, Blizzard. I did not want another button to push. Yeah. I just didn't want another button to push, that's it, really. PvP talents, I guess I won't really cover these all that much. They're just very situational, right? I guess Netherward, you'll pretty much always be running Netherward, no matter what, in most forms of series PvP. Even against double melee comps and stuff like that, you can still reflect stuff from Death Knights, you can still reflect stuff from Red Paladins, you can definitely still reflect stuff from healers, so I feel like Netherward is always a given, and Impish Instincts is obviously great. Now, would it be too much to ask to get a little bit more choice in these talent trees, Blizzard? God damn it. Well, you know what? It probably would be, because we're beta testing now, and we all know that that means that basically they're just trying to like balance the classes a little bit. I don't think they're going to be actually adding brand new talents and like new talent options and stuff like that, and new spells and skills on the talent trees to give us more options. But by gum is my feedback that these talent trees, while I love how impactful every choice feels, I don't love the fact that, I mean, all but 2 of these talent options in the entire destruction tree are dialed in, okay? They feel non-optional to me. It actually feels like we need about like 3 or 4 more points to spend and like an entirely new branch of talents down the right side, like beside the Channel Demon Fire skills, just to give us like just a big fresh branch of new options. Either that or just many more A-B choices, right? Between, for example, Summoner's Embrace and Grim of Sacrifice. Man, one extra little bit of feedback before I wrap this up and hand it over to you guys. What are you guys feeling about the talent builds? Is this the kind of tree that you think you'd be running as well? Or am I way off and rusty, man? The Decimation talent. Your critical strikes have a chance to reset the cooldown of Soulfire and reduce the cast time of your next Soulfire by 80%. Blizzard, if you were watching this gosh damn video, okay, let me land a couple crits and get the goddamn Soulfire proc. Here's my Soulfire in the bottom right of the screen, by the way. I just want to point that out. There it is, right? Let's just get a proc real quick, which surely is going to happen any second now, because I can't... There it is, okay. Decimation is procced. Why is my Soulfire not sparkling, dude? Why is the Soulfire not sparkling? Ugh. Why is the gosh dad Soulfire not sparkling? It needs to be glowing, it needs to be glittering, it needs to be... Dude, it needs to be signaling to me that the time is now to dunk somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's my last bit of feedback, man. Alright. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. A little bit more of just a chatty, I don't know, talent discussion style video in this one. If you got anything at all out of this video, I'd appreciate you hitting like and subscribing, man. More War Within stuff to come in the days to come, so I hope you guys stick around for that. For now, thanks for watching. I'm going to catch all of y'all just a tad bit later, man.